Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Parker. I'm the Director of Media Relations for the Prince George's County Police Department. I'll be joined today by Captain Jimmy Sims, who is the Assistant Commander of our Criminal Investigation Division. We're here this afternoon to announce 2 murder arrests. Both came today, one within the last few minutes. The first we're going to talk to you about is the arrest of Tor Campbell. He is charged in the stabbing death of his ex-girlfriend, Chantelle Lewis. This is from yesterday in Landover. And the second suspect we're going to talk to you about today is an Ian Murdaugh, who is charged in an August 5th murder in New Carrollton. So I'll bring up Captain Sims to walk you through the specifics of these 2 breaking arrests. Captain?
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I'll start with the arrest of Tor Campbell and give you a breakdown of that case. Yesterday morning at approximately 4:40 in the morning, Greenbelt City Police Department attempted to conduct a traffic stop on a vehicle for a minor traffic infraction. That vehicle fled from that traffic stop, and the Greenbelt officer did not give chase. A short time later, they did recover that vehicle. It had crashed a single-wheel accident into the woods. It was not occupied at the time they recovered the car. Officers attempted to locate the owner of that vehicle. The owner of the vehicle was determined to be the mother of our victim. Upon speaking with the mother, she informed the officers that her daughter was in possession of the vehicle. At that time, the mother decided to go to our victim's home with the victim's 5- and 10-year-old child and attempt to locate her. Upon entering, the children stayed outside. When she entered, she located the victim, deceased, inside of the residence, and she was suffering from multiple stab wounds to the upper body. At that time, police responded, and we began our initial investigation into the homicide of Chantelle Lewis. During the course of the investigation, we identified Mr. Tor Campbell as an ex-boyfriend of our victim, and through witness interviews and different leads that we got from the community, we quickly determined that our victim had been with Mr. Campbell several hours before she was found deceased. At that time, we began to attempt to locate Mr. Tor Campbell, which we did. We brought him in earlier this morning. He refused to speak with us. While he was in custody, a team of detectives, to include my lieutenant, Riley, took his team to a location on Tulip Avenue, not far from here. And during the course of a search there, which is a prior residence of Tor Campbell's, we were able to locate preliminarily clothing he wore during the murder, as well as the murder weapon. And again, that's preliminary. There's still some forensic testing to be done. So through the course of all the evidence we've recovered throughout the day, within the past 2 hours, we charged him with first-degree murder of our victim, Chantelle Lewis. And I'll take questions on that one.
Any idea of motive?
At this time, we don't know what the motive is. We do know that they had been in a short-term relationship, approximately 3 months, and had recently broken up.
Any idea how long she had been there?
We're not sure exactly the time frame. We believe that it had only been a few hours from the time she was deceased to the time her mother discovered her.
Family member says that.
Do you know how many times she was stabbed?
I don't know how many times she was stabbed.
Family member says her throat was slit.
She had significant trauma to her upper body. I won't get into the specifics of her injuries. I will say she had significant trauma, to include stab wounds in the upper body.
And her co-workers tell me that she was afraid of this man and had told co-workers and security at Children's Hospital to keep them off the campus.
During our interviews, we have received that information. However, through the background we've done, there's been no calls that we found through the police department, to our domestic violence unit, to our 211 number that had indicated she had reached out to the police department or any type of social services for any help during the course of her relationship with Mr. Campbell.
No protective order that you're aware of?
No protective order that we have found, again, with Mr. Campbell and our decedent. Any more questions on that?
Do you know whether or not this was an arranged meeting, or did he come to the house and surprise her?
Preliminarily, it appears that the victim had dropped her children off to her mother. We believe that occurred somewhere around midnight. At that time, we believe Ms. Lewis went to where Mr. Campbell was staying, which is with a relative in Greenbelt, and picked him up willingly, and they both went to her residence, at which time an altercation ensued. So it appears that she had picked him up willingly and had gone back to her apartment, or to her townhouse, I'm sorry.
The statement implicated robbery charges as well?
No, Okay. We're also announcing, and we're very pleased to announce, the arrest of Mr. Ian Murdahl. And I know I'll get questions on this. He is currently incarcerated on an unrelated robbery charge on a no bond status, so he is currently in our Department of Corrections. This one occurred on the 5th of August, about 3:49 in the morning. It occurred to the rear of 7865 Riverdale Road. Through the course of this investigation, our patrol officers responded and located our decedent. Our victim was found to the rear of the building with a gunshot wound to the upper body. He was pronounced deceased on the scene. During the course of the investigation, we located numerous witnesses. We did receive help from our community on this, which was great. Through the course of interviewing those witnesses, we were able to determine that our suspect, our victim, and several individuals were to the rear of that address, and there was some gambling occurring during the night. Once the gambling concluded, they were loitering to the rear. Several of the witnesses left to go inside of an apartment building to use the restroom. As soon as they went into the building, gunshots were heard. A short time later, our suspect, Mr. Murdahl, comes into the building with a bag. That bag contained a handgun. He dropped that off, told him to keep it. He then left the area a short time later in a cab. Through the interviews, through numerous search warrants, probably 6 different search warrants have been executed for this case, and through the witnesses, we were able to determine that Mr. Murdahl was with our victim at the time he was shot. The murder weapon that our witnesses have described to us is the same caliber and type of murder weapon that was used to kill our victim. With that probable cause, we obtained charges, I guess, within the last 30 minutes on Mr. Murdahl, and he is charged with first and second degree murder. Anthony D'Amato Coates is our victim.
Anthony
D'Amato, D-O-M-A-T-O, Coates.
Were you all able to get the gun?
We have not recovered the gun as of yet.
And the motive was the gambling, or?
At this time, we don't know what the motive is. It was our victim and our suspect. Our suspect is not speaking in reference to it, so we don't know what the motive is at this time.
So the belief is, I'm sorry, going back to the other case, that Campbell stole the mother's car. Is that where those robbery charges are coming from?
We believe he took the car after the murder, yes.
In relation to domestic murders now in the county, how many are we talking about within the time span here?
I can tell you for the year, we've had 13 now domestic-related murders of our 34 murders, which is 38% of our murders this year in Prince George's County have been domestic-related. As the chief spoke about yesterday, we've been very challenged over the past couple of weeks with domestic-related murders. For the month, we've had of our 10 murders in August, we've had 7 that have been domestic-related, and all our murders have been closed.
But in this short period of time here, we've got how many domestics? I mean, it's been like in the last few days.
Yeah, in the past 2.5 weeks, it's been 7 domestic-related.